At first, no one noticed how much Carol had faded, because she was always so good at disappearing quietly. The house still smelled like her morning cinnamon tea, and she still folded the laundry with that ghost of a smile. But something in her eyes had gone dull. The spark had drained after the stroke, and what was left behind was a woman who gave until the giving scraped her raw. Alex saw it first. Maybe because he was the only one looking. She didn't announce it like a revelation. She simply set down the kettle with trembling fingers and said, "I can't do this anymore." That was it. A sentence like a dropped match. Everything burned afterward. Alex was the only one there to hear it. He had stopped by to bring her groceries before heading to his second job. He noticed the bags under her eyes, the wheezing when she reached for the fridge door, and now, this, her finally saying it aloud. He didn't ask her to explain. He just nodded and sat down, even though the clock was ticking. "You told Jennifer?" he asked. Carol gave a faint nod. "She said I promised to babysit this weekend." "And you told her no?" "I did." She paused. "I told her I was tired." "Good," Alex said, trying not to let the relief in his voice show. "It's about time." Carol stared at the table, as if it might give her strength. She cried. She said I was abandoning her. Alex's hands clenched into fists. "She's not abandoned. She's been enabled." It wasn't anger at Jennifer. Well, not just anger. It was grief. Grief for the years lost to imbalance. For the way their family had silently voted that Carol, and by extension Alex, would be the safety net everyone else got to bounce on without thinking. He knew what was coming. Jennifer wouldn't accept it quietly. And Michael would do what he always did. Nothing. Followed by just enough resentment to pretend it was Alex's fault. Sure enough, Jennifer showed up that evening, her children in tow, her rage barely contained beneath layers of panic. "I don't have anyone else to watch them," she snapped, barely letting the door close behind her. Her 2 kids stood awkwardly in the hallway, sensing the tension, but too young to name it. Carol stayed seated at the table. She looked small, frail. "I'm sorry, Jennifer. I really am, but I can't help you this time." Jennifer's mouth opened like she'd been slapped. "You can't or you won't." "Both," Carol said, voice steady. "My body isn't holding up anymore. You could have told me sooner. You promised me. I have shifts scheduled. I need this." Alex stepped forward. "She did the right thing telling you now. You've been counting on her too much, Jen. You need to figure something else out." Jennifer's glare moved to him, sharp as a knife. "Oh, of course. You. Always lurking, always ready to step in and tell everyone what they're doing wrong. She's not well," Alex said, trying to keep his voice even. "You know that. You just don't want to admit how much you've relied on her. We all have." Jennifer folded her arms. "You don't know what it's like to be me." Alex's jaw clenched. "No, you don't know what it's like to be me. I've been the one staying up with her after appointments, handling her meds, walking the dog, cooking, cleaning, everything, and somehow I'm still the one who gets blamed when I ask for help." "Maybe because you make everything about you," Jennifer snapped. "Like Mom's some kind of prize, and you're the only one worthy of taking care of her." "I don't want a prize. I want a damn partner in this family for once." "Then maybe stop acting like you're better than us." "I'm not better. I'm tired." Carol's voice cut through like paper tearing. "Stop." They both froze. She pushed herself up slowly. "I've spent the last 10 years giving whatever I had left to this family, and I love you both, but I'm not going to die doing it. I'm sorry I promised what I couldn't give, but I won't apologize for saying no." Jennifer stared at her, eyes full of betrayal. She didn't say another word, just gathered her kids and left, shoulders rigid. Later, when the house was quiet again, the phone rang. Alex recognized the number instantly. Michael. He considered ignoring it. He knew exactly what was coming, but some part of him, a stubborn, exhausted part, still hoped maybe Michael would surprise him. He didn't. "You just had to stick your nose in again, didn't you?" Michael said without greeting. "Jen's losing her mind. You've broken Mom." Alex leaned against the wall, staring at nothing. Mom finally told the truth, and she's allowed to. She's not thinking clearly. She's confused. You put ideas in her head. "You mean boundaries?" Michael hissed. "You've always been the problem. You want control so badly you'd rather blow up the family than let anyone else breathe. That's rich coming from the guy who only shows up when someone's dead or it's Christmas." "Pfft, you." Alex smiled bitterly. "You can be angry, Mike, but it won't change the fact that Mom can't keep doing this. and I won't let you guilt her into it." There was a pause. Then Michael muttered, "You'll regret this," and hung up. Afterward, Alex didn't cry. He didn't punch walls. He just stood there, the receiver still warm in his hand, and felt the numbness creep in. The fracture lines were now visible. The perfect family image, motherly devotion, sibling loyalty, all of it, was cracking under the weight of neglect and unspoken resentment, and Alex realized something he should have known all along. Sometimes love meant protecting someone from their own family. The doorbell rang just past 9 the next morning. Alex was washing dishes, a chore he'd learned to do on autopilot. He froze, soap still clinging to his knuckles. He already knew who it was. The knock that followed was sharp, deliberate. "Michael." Carol peeked down the hallway. Her voice was small. "You want me to talk to him?" "No," Alex said, drying his hands. "I've got it." He opened the door, and there was Michael, still wearing that overpriced trench coat like he had just stepped out of some corporate crime drama. His hair was slicked back too precisely. His jaw clenched like he was ready for a fight. He didn't smile. "Morning," Michael muttered, stepping past Alex without waiting for an invite. That was always his thing, acting like the house belonged to him, even though he barely set foot in it. "Nice to see you too," Alex said. Michael walked into the kitchen, scanning it like a judge inspecting for flaws. "Where is she?" Carol emerged slowly from the living room. "I'm here." Michael looked at her, and for a moment, something human flickered in his eyes. "You okay?" She gave a non-committal shrug. "As okay as I can be." "I talked to Jen," he said, his tone already shifting into confrontation. "She's overwhelmed. You just dropped this on her?" "I didn't drop anything," Carol replied, her spine straightening ever so slightly. "I told her the truth, that I'm tired, that I can't be the fallback parent anymore." Michael turned to Alex. "And let me guess, you stood there clapping?" Alex kept his voice even. "I stood there supporting her." Michael laughed bitterly. "You're unbelievable. Do you enjoy being the righteous one? You think if you martyr yourself long enough, we'll all bow and say, 'Thank you, Alex, for saving us'? I don't need your gratitude. I need you to do your damn part." "My part? I work 60 hours a week. And what do you do when you're not working? Visit? Call? Ask Mom how she's doing? You leave all the emotional labor to the rest of us." "No, scratch that. Just me." "You chose this life," Michael snapped. "You stayed. Don't throw it in my face now." Alex's voice dropped. "I stayed because someone had to." Carol interrupted softly. "Enough, please." But the words hung in the air, heavy. Michael turned back to her, his voice suddenly gentle. "Mom, if you need help, I can pay for a caregiver, just until you get your strength back." Alex folded his arms. "Oh, now you're willing to throw money at the problem?" Michael shot him a glare. "It's better than acting like the world revolves around you. I'm acting like Mom deserves better than to be treated like a nanny with a heart condition." Carol cleared her throat. "I appreciate the offer, Michael, but I don't want a stranger in my home. I want my children to step up. Equally." Michael's eyes narrowed. "That's not fair. I can't be here physically the way Alex can." "Then don't insult the fact that I am," Alex said. "You disappear, and then criticize how the rest of us survive in your absence. I'm not disappearing. I'm building a life. At what cost?" Michael's lips curled. "At the cost of not drowning in this house." Silence fell. It was the first time anyone had said it, the truth behind the resentment. Michael had run because he could, because staying meant becoming the next Carol, and he couldn't bear it. Carol sat down slowly, her breathing shallow. "You both are grown men. I didn't raise you to tear each other down." "We're not tearing each other down," Alex said. "We're finally telling the truth." Michael sank into the chair across from her. "I never wanted to leave you with all this, but I couldn't stay, Mom. I felt like this house was a vacuum. Everything just gets sucked into it and disappears." Carol didn't argue. She simply looked at him. "Then why resent the person who stayed?" Michael swallowed. "Because I felt guilty, and I hated him for not leaving too." It wasn't an apology, but it cracked something open. Alex blinked, stunned. "You hated me for not abandoning her?" Michael nodded, his eyes full of something raw. "Because you made me feel like a coward, and you didn't even try to understand why I left." Alex didn't speak. His jaw was clenched so tight it ached. Carol exhaled. "Maybe this family needs more honesty and less pretending everything's okay. Maybe this family needs more than just one person doing the work," Alex added. Michael rubbed his temples. "Fine. What do you want from me?" Alex looked at him for a long time before answering. "Not money. Not apologies. Presence. Call her. Show up. Be here when you say you will. Be someone she doesn't have to collapse to get attention from. Michael looked like he was going to argue, but something stopped him. I can try, he said finally. I can try harder. It wasn't a grand gesture, but it was the closest they'd come to progress in years. Still, when Michael left that night, Carol turned to Alex with worry in her eyes. You think he'll mean it? Alex hesitated. I think he wants to. That's a start. But he also knew Michael had a pattern. Apologize, disappear, repeat. And Jennifer? She hadn't called once since the blowout. This wasn't over. It was a pause. A breath in the middle of a long, unraveling sentence. And something told Alex the next part of the story would be even messier. Carol hadn't heard from Jennifer in 4 days. She didn't expect her daughter to call. That wasn't how Jennifer dealt with pain. She withdrew, buried it, and then weaponized it later. Still, the silence was heavy. It hung over the house like fog, muting everything. Alex tried to distract Carol with crossword puzzles, old comedies, the smell of baking bread, but she saw it, the way Carol kept glancing at the phone, waiting. On the 5th day, Jennifer arrived unannounced. The door slammed behind her. She came in like a storm. No makeup, hair pulled into a rushed ponytail, exhaustion clinging to her like a second skin. Her eyes were red, not from crying, but from holding it in for too long. I need to talk to you, she told Carol, who was curled up with a blanket on the recliner. Carol straightened, setting down her book. Of course. Alex looked up from the kitchen, instinctively bracing himself. Jennifer glanced at him. Alone. Alex didn't move. Whatever this is, I think I should stay. No, you shouldn't, Jennifer snapped. You always insert yourself, and I need to speak to Mom without your commentary. Alex looked at Carol, who gave a hesitant nod. It's okay, Alex. I can handle it. Reluctantly, he walked outside, heart pounding. He didn't trust this moment. Not because Jennifer was cruel, but because Jennifer was hurt, and hurt people lashed out. Inside, the silence stretched for a few moments. Carol folded her hands in her lap. Jennifer sat across from her and stared. When did I become the problem? She asked quietly. Carol blinked. What? I mean it. When did I become the one no one had patience for? The one who's always too much or not enough? Because I swear to God, that's how I feel every time I ask for help. Jennifer, that's not… Yes, it is, she interrupted. You and Alex have this thing, this unspoken bond where you look at each other and just know. He breathes and you say, thank you. I breathe and you ask, why are you so difficult? Carol looked stunned. I never meant to. But you did. Jennifer's voice cracked. You did it when I was 16 and came home crying from school, and you told me to toughen up. You did it when I had my first baby and begged you to stay a few nights. And you said, you'll figure it out, just like I did. You've always expected me to manage everything alone. I didn't want you to feel helpless, Carol said softly. I thought you were strong. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. That's not a compliment when it means I'm not allowed to need anything. Carol sat silent, the weight of Jennifer's words settling over her. You promised to babysit last weekend. I rearranged my whole work schedule, and then suddenly, I'm the bad guy for asking something you offered. I didn't know I'd feel this bad, Carol whispered. I'm not angry at you for asking. I'm angry at myself for saying yes when I should have said no. Jennifer nodded slowly. That's the thing though, Mom. You only say no to me, never to Alex. Carol winced. That's not true. It is, Jennifer insisted. You let him set the rules. You treat his words like law. And I've spent my entire life trying to get even half of the understanding you give him without question. Carol blinked rapidly, as if trying to hold back tears of her own. You see him as the savior. I'm the screw-up. Michael's the ghost. That's our family dynamic, right? And God forbid I ever say I'm overwhelmed. Because then I'm just being dramatic. Carol stood slowly, wobbly from emotion as much as from fatigue. She reached out and took Jennifer's hands. You're not a screw-up. You're not dramatic. You're a daughter who's had to carry more than she should. And I didn't see it because I thought you didn't need me. Jennifer laughed bitterly. I needed you more than anyone. Carol's voice shook. I failed you then. Jennifer looked down at their intertwined hands. Yeah, you did. The honesty cut both ways. They stood there like that, hands tangled, grief between them like a third person in the room. I love you, Carol said. I love all three of you. I just didn't know how to be what you each needed, not all at once. You didn't have to be perfect, Jennifer said, just present. A long silence followed. I can't be your babysitter anymore, Carol said firmly, but I want to help. Just Not at the cost of my health. We have to renegotiate what help means. Jennifer nodded, reluctantly. Okay. She stood and headed toward the door. Her posture was still rigid, but her tone had softened. Maybe we all need to stop pretending this family still works the way it did 10 years ago. Carol nodded. Families change. We just haven't let ourselves admit it. Jennifer lingered at the door. Tell Alex I'm not mad, just tired. I think he knows, Carol said gently. Outside, Alex leaned against the porch railing, arms crossed, the weight of waiting sitting heavy on his shoulders. Jennifer passed him without stopping. As she reached her car, she paused. I meant what I said in there, she said without looking at him. Alex sighed. Yeah, I figured. She opened the car door, then turned back. You're not the villain, Alex, but you're not the only one who's been carrying something. I know that, he said. I just wish we all saw it sooner. Same. And then she was gone. That night, the house was quiet again, but different. Carol sat beside Alex on the couch. Maybe the problem was never who did more, she said. Maybe it was that no one felt like they were enough. Alex exhaled. That sounds about right. He didn't say it, but a part of him felt like a boy again, waiting for his mother to explain the chaos of the world. Only now, they were navigating the fallout together. The equilibrium was still off, but something had shifted. A door cracked open. Still, the tension wasn't fully gone. Michael had made promises. Jennifer had vented. Carol had set her first real boundary, but none of them knew yet how, or if, it would hold. Carol had never been good at asking for what she wanted. But after the confrontations with both Jennifer and Michael, something in her had shifted. She was tired, not just physically, but tired of the quiet assumptions, the unspoken resentments. So she made a decision. She would host a dinner. One meal, one table. Everyone together. She cooked like she hadn't in years. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds. Her movements were slow, labored at times, but deliberate. A soft cardigan wrapped around her like armor. Alex hovered at first, worried. Are you sure you're up for this? I need to do it, she said. They need to see each other. Really see each other. Jennifer arrived first. Kids left with their father for the night. She brought a bottle of wine and a visible effort to appear composed. Michael came 15 minutes late, as always, walking in with a bottle of scotch and a forced smile. Wow, he said, eyeing the table. This is domestic. No one died, Carol said lightly. So let's eat. They sat down. There was an almost artificial calm at first, polite laughter, comments about the food, the weather. But underneath it all, tension coiled like a snake, waiting for the right moment to strike. It came halfway through the meal, when Michael said, So, what's the real reason we're here? Intervention? Mediation? A family therapy pilot episode? Jennifer gave a small, bitter laugh. You'd hate therapy. Too much listening. Oh, please. At least I show up when Mom asks. Right, she said, because buying a bottle of scotch and appearing late is heroic. Alex put down his fork. Can we not? Carol closed her eyes briefly. This is why I asked you all here. Because this is what I can't take anymore. The sniping, the scoring points, the years of blaming each other. Jennifer leaned back in her chair. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just tired of pretending we're all close when we're not. You know what's funny? Michael said, looking between them. I always thought Alex was the glue. Turns out he's just the referee. Alex didn't flinch. That's rich. Coming from someone who only shows up to criticize. Michael's voice sharpened. I'm trying to participate now, aren't I? Or should I apologize for not having a savior complex? No, Carol cut in. But you should apologize for letting me nearly collapse from exhaustion while you built your life from a safe distance. The table went still. Carol's voice was calm but firm. I never asked for all this. I didn't want to become the center everyone orbits because it's convenient. I wanted children who could stand next to me, not behind me, waiting for me to hold them up. Jennifer stared at her plate. I thought I had to be strong, that asking for help made me weak. Michael added, and I thought leaving was survival, that staying would break me. And I thought being the responsible one would protect you both, Alex said. But it only made me resentful. They sat there, stewing in the strange heat of honesty. The chicken grew cold. No one touched the green beans. Carol's voice broke the silence again. I need to stop being the axis. This family can't revolve around me anymore. Jennifer looked up. Then what do? We find a new rhythm, Carol said. One where you call each other, not just me, where you help each other, where Alex isn't the only emergency contact. Michael poured himself a drink. And what if we can't? Carol met his eyes. Then we lose each other. It was the most terrifying thing she'd ever said. But it was true. Jennifer finally whispered, I don't want to lose this family. I just want to stop pretending I'm okay when I'm not, Alex added. And I want to stop holding everything together while everyone else gets to fall apart. Michael swirled his drink. And maybe I want to stop running. It wasn't a resolution, but it was a beginning. Carol smiled gently. Then maybe we're finally a family again. A broken one, but real. Later that night, as the dishes sat untouched and the wine bottles emptied, the three siblings lingered. No shouting, no storm, just the uneasy quiet of people who'd been to war with each other and survived. For the first time in a long while, Carol felt the pressure lift from her chest. They weren't fixed, but maybe they were seen, and sometimes that was the first step to healing.